You are walking down a street. You spot a cow. Its ribs are visible through its skin. It is chewing on a plastic bag. Your stomach tightens. You tell yourself it is just another stray. But the real reason that cow is there is far darker. It is starving because of a law written to save it. This is the unintended cruelty behind the cow slaughter ban. A well meaning law has created millions of walking skeletons, and the silence around it is deafening. Walk through any Indian city or village. Cows are everywhere. They amble through traffic. They sleep on pavements. They nose through garbage piles. They eat plastic paper and rotting leftovers. This is not a sign of a culture that reveres the cow. It is a sign of a culture that has found a way to ignore its suffering. To understand the tragedy, you must go back thousands of years. In Hinduism, the cow is sacred. It is a symbol of life, gentleness, and maternal care. Ancient texts speak of the cow as a mother. For centuries, this sacred status translated into genuine protection. The farmer and his cow had a bond. The cow gave milk, and in return, the family cared for it until its natural death. Killing a cow was unthinkable, not just illegal. It was a moral violation. Then came the modern nation state, and with it, a new kind of moral enforcement, the law. Beginning in the 1950s, Indian states began passing laws banning cow slaughter. The intention was pure. The living embodiment of the sacred cow would be protected by statute. Over the decades, these laws grew tighter. By the early 2000s, most states had banned the slaughter of any cow of any age. Punishments escalated. Today, killing a cow can send you to prison for a decade. Even transporting a cow across internal borders can be a criminal offense. But here, the slow collapse begins. The dairy farmer does not run a charity. He survives on the milk his cows produce. A cow only gives milk for a few years. After that, she becomes a dry, unproductive animal. She still needs food, water, shelter, and medicine. There are no state pensions for old cows. Before the ban, the farmer had an economic exit. He could sell the old cow to a butcher. It was a harsh transaction, but it was final. The animal died quickly, and the farmer got a small sum to invest in a new milking cow. The slaughter ban erased that exit. It removed the old cow's economic value. But it did not eliminate the cost of keeping her alive. So what does a farmer with a hungry family and no money do? He makes a terrible choice. He opens the gate at dawn and shoos her out. Or he hires a truck to dump her in a market town. Or he simply stops feeding her until she wanders off on her own. In a single act of quiet desperation, the protected cow becomes a stray. Now multiply that decision by millions. According to India's 20th livestock census, the country had over 5 million stray cattle in 2019. That is more than the entire population of Ireland. The number had exploded by around 30% in just 7 years. Behind each number is a creature that was once someone's responsibility. Now it is nobody's. You have seen the ones that survive. They stand on road dividers, ribs like rungs of a ladder. They chew on anything within reach. But a cow is not a vulture. Its digestive system evolved to process grass, not polystyrene. So when a cow eats plastic, it does not pass through. It accumulates in the rumen, the first stomach chamber. A study by the Indian Veterinary Research Institute documented stray cattle carrying up to 50 kilograms of plastic in their bodies. Imagine carrying a load of garbage inside you that you can never expel. The plastic mass blocks digestion. The cow feels full. But it is starving. It literally starves on a full stomach. This is a slow death. It can take months. But the misery does not end with one animal. These stray cows breed. They give birth on the roadside, in the dust. Many newborn calves are hit by vehicles within hours. Some die of infections because the mother is malnourished. The ones that live learn to eat garbage like their mothers. They never know grass. They grow up with plastic in their bellies. They form a generation of walking ghosts. Why are they not collected and cared for? The answer explains the depth of the problem. The government did build shelters. They are called gaushalas. Every state with a ban has them. But an investigation by Humane Society International in 2021 found that most shelters are severely underfunded. Cows are crammed into bare concrete pens. There is never enough fodder. A government audit in the northern state of Uttar Pradesh revealed that shelter cows often receive less than half the required nutrition. In some cases, inspectors found animals eating their own dry dung to survive. The shelters become slow-motion starvation camps. They are hidden behind walls, away from the public eye. The sacred cow dies, just out of sight. So the cow perishes. Whether on a street corner or in a shelter, it perishes. The only variable is the duration of its suffering. Now pause and compare two possible fates. A cow sold to a regulated slaughterhouse. It is stunned with a captive bolt. Death comes in seconds. It is not beautiful, but it is fast. Now place that next to the stray. It roams for years, racked with hunger, full of indigestible trash. Its death is a gradual shutting down of organs. It dies alone and in pain. Which ending would you choose for the animal? The slaughter ban forces the second option. This is the dark paradox. A law designed to eliminate killing has produced a far more agonizing death. It turns a quick act of violence into a prolonged state of suffering. The moral calculus collapses on itself. You might wonder how a nation can tolerate this. The answer lies in a universal human habit. You are drawn to moral symbols. A sacred cow is a powerful symbol. Passing a law to protect that symbol feels righteous. Once the law is passed, the symbol is declared safe. You can then look away. Dr. Chinni Krishna, an animal welfare expert who has studied this for decades, calls it legislation by emotion. The law satisfies a collective conscience, even as the real animals die in greater numbers. But there is more at play. The cow has become a political weapon. Politicians use the ban to signal cultural purity. They promise ever stricter punishments. The cow becomes a flag, not a living being. Questioning the ban is treated as an attack on faith. So the system cannot correct itself. The cows keep starving, and the law stays untouched. The tragedy is that everyone involved means well. The devotee who demands the ban loves the idea of the cow. The politician who enacts it wants to honor that love. Even the farmer who abandons his animal does so with a heavy heart. But good intentions are not enough. When you ignore the complex systems around a moral rule, you cause harm. You save your conscience and sacrifice the cow. This pattern stretches far beyond India. Your own world is full of sacred cows. Not the animal, but the unexamined principle. A belief so cherished that you refuse to see its real-world consequences. It might be a policy you defend. It might be a personal habit of thought, something you support because it makes you feel good, not because it works. Have you ever held onto a rule so tightly that you ignored the harm it caused? Have you ever chosen a clean symbol over a messy, better outcome? The starving cow on the sidewalk is not just an Indian problem. It is a mirror. It reflects the cost of simplifying the world into good and evil without asking what happens next. So the next time you see an image of a rib-caged cow chewing a plastic bottle, do not just feel pity. Ask what system placed it there. Who wrote the law? Who funded the shelter that does not feed it? Who decided that their symbol was worth more than this creature's breath? The answers will unsettle you. Because they will not point to monsters. They will point to ordinary people trying to do good. They might even point to yourself. Next time you see a cow on the side of the road, its mouth working on a scrap of garbage, you will know. It is not just a stray. It is not just a sad sight. It is the silent, starving consequence of a virtue that refused to think. It is a sacred cow, dying for a sacred idea. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe to our channel. A new story every week.